So you guys familiar with Francis? Who knows who Francis Chan is? So half people know Francis. So Francis Chan is like this, you guys know, real well-known, probably the most well-known Asian speakers or pastors. And so there's this one story where he tells that in one of his sermons he says that people started calling him up, and they were concerned because of some weird things that he was writing on Facebook. And he was like, that's kind of weird because, he said, he barely uses Facebook and he doesn't normally post anything. And it was funny because what happened was he realized that people were making fake profiles of himself, pretending that they were him, and writing things like, hey guys, I'm going to be speaking here, and saying like all kinds of crazy things. And what alerted a lot of people was that, they noticed that what it looked like appeared to be Francis Chan. He was saying things that were not in his character. He was saying things that you would not think Francis Chan would say, right? And so, in other words, they weren't reflecting or like resembling like who Francis really was. And so while there are like multiple fake Facebook profiles claiming to be him, the reality was, there's only one genuine, profile for Francis Chan. And that just made me think about like, in our world, in our popular culture, we're taught that there are many ways to God. We're taught that it doesn't matter what religion that you follow, as long as you're sincere, they all lead to God, and they all are valid and equal. But I think if God, if he had a Facebook account and he saw like multiple profiles, different people claiming to be him, he would probably disagree. The biblical God would probably disagree. And the reason for this is that it matters to God, I think, that we know him intimately. And to know him intimately, we have to know him accurately, for who he is. Knowing him accurately is so important that when we think about it. The first commandment of the Ten Commandments is, you shall have no other gods before me, only me. And the reason why he mentioned that was because the Israelites had just come out of Egypt, right? And in Egypt, there were thousands of gods, thousands of deities. There are basically thousands of different religions, all claiming to be ways to God. And so God wanted to make it very clear in the Old Testament, there's only one God, one way to me. I don't want you guys following all these other religions or deities that are claiming to be me. And, it's kind of like, like whole talking about the whole jealousy thing. And the reason why he mentions it in the Ten Commandments is because I'm a jealous God, and God is jealous for us. Like I said, when you just generally think of jealousy, you think of it as a bad thing, but in the right context, we think about relationships, like between husband and wife. Jealousy is kind of a good thing because it shows that your husband or wife at least cares about you, which is why I mentioned how Julie gets jealous about me when girls are chasing after me in my dreams. And so, like any other husband or wife, God doesn't want to share us with another person. He wants us all to himself, just like Julie wants me all to herself. And so the main point I wanted to get across is that in the right context, love is exclusive. True love is exclusive. And the main point I want to get to you today is that true love between God and his people demands an exclusive relationship. Now, when we think about exclusivity, again, in today's context, it's kind of seen as a bad word because we want to be inclusive of everyone. We don't want to exclude our friends, from joining our group and, playing in the playground, with other kids. We want to make sure that everybody's included. But, when it comes to a relationship between a husband or a wife, between a couple, we do want it to be exclusive, right? And so that's the same thing that I guess God wants, I think, when it comes to our relationship with him. Now, in the beginning of this passage, Jesus makes it very clear. He makes this point very clear, but he starts off by saying that he tells his disciples, look guys, don't be troubled, don't be worried, but I'm going to be leaving you. And at the time that he's speaking is around the time of his Last Supper. So he has told his disciples, he's washed the disciples' feet at the Last Supper. He's told Peter and Judas that they're going to basically betray him. And now, in today's passage, he's telling them, look guys, I'm going to be leaving you guys. But don't freak out. He's saying that and what he says is, I'm leaving because I'm going to prepare a place for you in my Father's house. And what he means is that he's going to go away and be crucified. And so he's not going to be crucified, but he's also going to resurrect from the dead and go to heaven, which is also known as his Father's house. That's what he's referring to. So when Jesus says, he's going back to his Father's house, he's saying that I'm preparing a place for you in heaven. I'm preparing a place specifically for you. So when Jesus says, I am the way, he's basically saying that he is the way into his Father's house. That's what he's saying. And the picture of Jesus preparing a place for us in the Father's house is meant to describe a Jewish man back then who would prepare a place for his wife. Like right after they got married, what they would do is the guy would set up a place in his house. He would make that extra room for his wife to live in with him and his family. And so that's the imagery that Jesus is kind of bringing to the table. And so, Jesus is basically saying that I'm preparing a home for you in heaven, the way that a groom would prepare a home for his bride. And whenever we come home, from long trips, with my family, Alyssa, even yesterday we were at Center Park. Alyssa will, right when we turn into our driveway, she's like, "Oh yay, we're home! We're home! Yay!" Remember that, Alyssa? She's like, "Yeah, we're home. We made it." And she's happy to be home. And she's happy to be home because that's where her toys are at. That's where Grandpa, Grandma are at. That's where she enjoys being the most. And I think for many of us, it's the same way, right? When you're at a hard day's work or you come from a long trip, you kind of can't wait to get home because home is where we're able to finally rest and relax. And I think, deep inside, I believe all of us, we long for an eternal home in heaven, where we can truly find rest. And I think this is the reason why we have a difficulty accepting death, right? Death is the most natural thing in the world. Everyone dies, but yet it's like the most unacceptable thing that we just can't seem to want to believe actually exists. That we can't believe. People get distraught over it. People feel like they just can't live. And there's a very strong sense that that we cannot accept that death is the reality for us. And I think that's because deep inside, we know that it's unnatural because we know that we are made for eternity. I think another way that it shows up, our longing for rest in heaven, is that we're constantly trying to upgrade. We're constantly upgrading, trying to make things new. That's why you have to always update your iOS on your phone. Because we want everything to be new, upgraded. That's why we want to improve ourselves. We want to improve our house. We constantly want to upgrade our house. We want to renovate our houses because we always want something new and fresh. We have an obsession with newness. We want everything to be new. And when we get old, we'll spend thousands of dollars on makeup, on all kinds of Botox and all these surgeries to try to look and feel as young as possible. My wife used to work for a company called Rodan and Fields. Have you heard of that? You go online and basically, it's a pyramid scheme basically. Like you sell makeup products that will, like skin products that will, skincare that will improve your skin. But it's nice, your sister's going into it, but I think basically it's a pyramid scheme. But people spend hundreds, thousands of dollars to try to look young, to stay young, and I think that just indicates that, again, there's this desire for eternity. And deep inside, we all know that we're made for more than just what's here on earth. But then I think there's also this emptiness that we're always trying to fill in this world that seems like nothing in this world can satisfy. If you guys know who Blaise Pascal is? Blaise Pascal. So I think Blaise Pascal was really, a long time ago, he was a philosopher, and I wouldn't say that he is, or maybe one of the fathers of computer science. So Pascal is like, it's like technically an old computer language. So, but anyways, he made this statement. He said that he believes that we all have God-sized vacuums in our hearts, and the only way that it can be filled is with God Himself. And the thing is, if we're not filling it with God, I think we're all going to end up filling it with something. We're going to end up filling it with something. Well, and I think that's the reason why we're trying to fill that void with things like our accomplishments, our achievements, and that's why we get jealous of other people, like you guys said, because those accomplishments accomplishing achievements, we're hoping that it's going to satisfy us. And when it doesn't satisfy us, we lash out and kind of get jealous about people who do seem to have some accomplishments and achievements going for them. I think we try to satisfy it through our relationships. We're trying to hoping that we find that Mr. or Mrs. Right is going to complete us. God made us for relationships, and so He does want us to relate to each other and get married and find that Mr. or Mrs. Right, but they can't complete us. You can't expect someone, any human being, to complete you. The only person that can complete and fill that void in our hearts is God Himself. Another way that I think that shows we are trying to fill that void with things that don't work is when it manifests addictive behaviors. So whether it be alcohol abuse, some of us will abuse drugs, some of us will get addicted to pornography, get addicted to food, TV, I think, and entertainment. So to be honest, I am addicted to entertainment and movies. So me and my wife, we watch way too much TV and movies. And so, for me, it's like a sense of escape. I want to escape from my problem. And so we're thinking about, we want to try to read more. So we were saying that we're going to move the TV out of our room. We haven't done it yet, but we will. We are reading though. So, now, are you familiar with this phrase? Home is where the heart is. You heard that phrase? Home is where the heart is. When I think about that phrase, and I think about the different ways we try to fill that void that's in our heart that I was talking about, I think it's an indication that what we're really trying to do is make our way home back to the Father, like Jesus says in today's passage. In other words, I think a lot of us are spiritually homesick, but we don't even know it sometimes. Like Thomas, many of us are basically, I think, spiritually lost, and we don't know our way back home. So in verse 4, Jesus says, "You know the way to the place where I'm going." But Thomas responds in verse 5, he says, "Lord, we don't know where you are going, so how can we know the way?" And so I feel like Thomas is like, "What are you talking about? How are we supposed to know the way to your Father's house?" And maybe he's thinking, literally, he's like, "You're talking about Joseph's house? I thought he sold that house like last year or something. Like, is he, is it literally we're trying to find his house? If you want us to go to your Father's house," and then Thomas is probably thinking, what is the address? Give me the address to your Father's house. He's literally asking, what is the right way? Or, if today he would say, he would give Jesus his phone. And so just put it in my contact list, whatever your address is. Or can you at least, show me on Google Maps where it is so I can map it. Because, he wants to know how can we get to Jesus' Father's house. And what Jesus is telling him and what he's telling us today is, you don't need directions to my Father's house. Because what Jesus is telling us today is, I am the way to my Father's house. It's me. And he's saying that because he's saying that I and the Father are the same people. So you don't even need directions. I am the Father. He says, I am the way back home to the Father because I and the Father are one and the same person. Notice he does not say he is a way, but he says that he is the way. He doesn't say he is a truth. He says that he is the truth. And he says that he is the life. He is not one of many ways to God, but he is the only way. That's what he's saying. And he's saying that because he himself is God. That's what he means by he's the way. When you look at a compass, right? I was thinking about the idea of a compass. When you look at a compass, how do you know which way is east, west, or south? The only way that you know is because the compass indicates which way is north, right? Yes. So if this is north, then I know that this is east, this is west, this is south. That's the only way that we know. It's because there's a such thing as a North Pole, if I'm understanding correctly. And so, kind of like a compass, Jesus is basically, it's more than a compass. Jesus is the way north. Jesus is the way north. And because he's the way north, that's why we're able to even understand that objective truth exists. Because it's all based on him, on the truth of who he is. Which is why Jesus says, I am the truth. He says that he's not one of many ways to truth. If he was one of many ways to truth, he would have said, I am a truth. But he says the truth. And the reason why is that he is, as God, he's the embodiment of all truth. Because he points north, he is the reference point that allows us to know the difference between right and wrong, good and evil, truth and lies. He's the exact opposite of Satan. Satan is known as the father of lies. lies that Satan has taught us today in our culture is that nothing can be proved as being inherently wrong or right, but that everything is relative. Basically, it may be right for you, but it may not be right for me. Just because it's right for you doesn't mean it's right for me. And so everything comes down to just preferences. So now, if you're going to base your life on this ideology, how are you going to be able to condemn the Nazis for killing all the millions of Jews? Because according to that philosophy, you can't say it's objectively right or wrong. You're saying, oh, that's just their opinion. For them, it was, you can't say that's just a preference. And so, how can, when ISIS cuts off someone's head, according to that philosophy, you can't objectively say that that's wrong, because it's just a matter of preference. They choose to be that way, and they're not necessarily wrong. That's just their lifestyle. That's just their belief, which is equal to anyone else's belief. And so the only way I think that you can identify truth from fact, I think good from evil, it requires a reference point that points the way a compass points us to north. And Jesus is that reference point. And so I think that's what Jesus means when he says he's the truth. That's how important it is. And so I think based on our understanding of what Jesus is, how he is the way and how he is the truth, that's going to determine how we're going to live our life. And why Jesus brings up the fact, he says, I am the life. And, as God, he's the life because he's the source of all life. He's the creator of life. He's the source of abundant life here on earth, and he's the source of eternal life in heaven. John 10:10, he says, I have come that they may have life and have it more abundantly, or have it to the full. And then John 3:16, he says, whoever believes in me, they will not perish, but have what? Everlasting life, eternal life. And so, now in case you haven't understood the point of his exclusivity, Jesus makes clear. He says in these words, he says, no one comes to the Father except through me. In other words, what he's saying is that although there may be many profiles on Facebook claiming to represent God, there's only one real Facebook profile, and that profile belongs to me, Jesus. To hammer this point, in Acts 4:12, Luke says, salvation is found in no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given to mankind by which we must be saved. Now, Jesus' exclusive claim that he is the one and only way God, I know is not very popular to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. People are afraid to actually say that. It wasn't popular then, and it's just as unpopular now. When people hear us say that, they think that, well, you're being divisive. You're being intolerant. And to say that you know the only way, you're being very arrogant. We believe that all religions are the same, and they should all lead to the same God, and that they're all equal. And at first, I think like these arguments, they sound nice, but like when we really stop and think about it, they don't really make a lot of sense logically. For one, I think when you say that all religions are the same, they may have similarities, but like their main beliefs, they contradict one another. For Islam, or Judaism, in order to get to heaven, it requires works, and it depends on your self-righteousness. In Buddhism, there's no such thing as heaven. They don't even believe that heaven exists. In Christianity, we believe that you get to heaven through faith in Jesus Christ alone. So there's a lot of conflict there, and a lot of contradictions. And if you speak to anyone who is actually a Hindu, an actual Muslim, they'll tell you the same. Another issue is that the assumption that we are the only ones that are being exclusive. Most, if not all, religions make exclusive claims, including atheism. Because when an atheist says God does not exist, he's excluding the claim that God does exist. He's excluding the people who say they believe in God. It's just as exclusive as Jesus is claiming. And to say it's not possible for one faith to have the right answers, it's just as arrogant as Jesus claiming that he's the only way. Because for someone to say it's not possible, they're saying that their view is superior to yours. Your view that says that there's only one way, they're saying my view that there's no way it could be one way. They're the person being just as superior, in terms of their attitude, as we might appear to be. So I think conclusions like either all faiths claims are wrong, or all wrong, or one is right. But they cannot all be right. It's just not logically possible. Now again, these claims are not popular. But Jesus, he didn't come here to be popular. He came here to save us. And he came here to tell us the truth, to show us the truth. And he came to bring us home to the Father, the way that a bridegroom brings his wife home to the Father's house. And the love between God and his people, like I said, demands an exclusive relationship. Tim Keller makes this really great statement. He says, the absolute and exclusive claims of Christ, which people hate, come because Christianity is so personal. Because he is a personal God, we must come to him on his terms, and we are in no position to make demands. Because God is holy, his nature is holy, he cannot coexist with sin. And so, one of the terms of being in relationship with him is that our sin problem needs to be addressed if we want to coexist with him. Now, when you're fighting with your husband or your wife or your boyfriend or girlfriend, you're not going to have any intimacy with them. You're not going to be all done together. When you're really fighting, like me and my wife are fighting, we can't even be in the same room together sometimes. And it's really bad. I'll be sleeping on the couch. So we can't have any intimacy. We do as human beings until that conflict is resolved. And so it's the same way with God, is that he cannot coexist with us until that sin issue that we have is resolved. And the good news of the gospel is this, is that Jesus resolved that sin issue for us. That's the good news. The sin issue that separates us from the Father, so that we can now coexist in the same room like the husband and wife, without having to fight, and one has to be on the couch. Jesus made that possible, and he made that possible because he died on the cross for our sins. And so whether you like it or not, for God, this is the only exclusive way for us to be reconciled to him, so that we can finally come home. When I was thinking about this sermon, it just made me think about, the idea of, imagine you guys had caught, one of you guys caught the AIDS virus somehow. And I tell you, look, I have the cure. It's right here. I made an antidote for you. All you got to do is inject yourself with it and you'll be well. Imagine if you say, well, do I really have to take that? Like, aren't there other ways that I can do it? I can, get well. Like, can't I just take a bunch of multivitamins or just start drinking a lot of water so I can flush out the disease? And I'd be like, no, this is the only cure. Do you want to take it or not? And just imagine you're like, oh, but then what about all these other options? What about the people who don't have access to this antidote? What about them? And you start, arguing and thinking of all these reasons, like why you don't want to take this and why it seems so improbable that this is the only answer. And sometimes I feel like God, he just gets frustrated. He's like, just take it. What are you doing? Do you want to get well? If you want to get well, take it. This is the answer. My son's blood shed on the cross is the answer for your disease called sin. And that's the problem, is that all of us are infected with this disease called sin. And I think because of our sinful nature, and also because of pride, we don't want to receive this antidote that God is giving us through his Son. We don't want to receive it. And sometimes we will just start thinking of all these other reasons why we shouldn't take it. It could be other ways and things like that. But if it is really, it's not even about being, I have to be right or wrong or being arrogant. If this is the truth, if this will actually heal you, it's not being arrogant, it's not being narrow-minded to say that this is the only way. And especially if evidence has been given to you to prove that this antidote is actually going to work. And the evidence that we have is Jesus' resurrection. That's what it really comes down to. And so you can't take this antidote, and you can't claim that this is the one thing that will heal you, because of the fact that Jesus rose from the dead and he proved it. And so I'm just in closing. I just wanted to challenge you guys by asking this question. Have you taken this antidote for your disease called sin? Have you really received the forgiveness of Christ and accepted it? And then if you have, the natural response is that you would want to give this antidote to other people who are also sick. right? If I found out I had the cure to AIDS and it was given to me, I would naturally want other people to know about it. And if you're not doing that, then that is a problem. That shows something. It shows that either you haven't received it for yourself, or for whatever reason you haven't appreciated it enough, or that you're believing lies that there are other ways, for me to get healed. You believe that maybe there are other ways for me to get healed through my self-righteousness, maybe through my good works. You know, maybe there's other ways for me to get home to heaven. Not just through other viewpoints, but maybe there are other ways to experience eternal life. The way that you're trying to satisfy that vacuum inside your heart through things on this earth that can't satisfy you. And so, Jesus, basically, he made himself exclusively for us, so that we can be in this exclusive relationship with God, so that we can finally come home. And the question is, he's made himself exclusive for you, but have you made yourself exclusive to him? Or is he the main person in your life? Or is he just like the girlfriend on the side, or the boyfriend on the side, that you go to only when you need something? And that's the challenge. And the good news is, again, is that like the prodigal son, maybe you have kind of strayed from home. You may have strayed from home in the past week. I know I have. I have strayed from home in the past week many times. But the good news is, like the father of the prodigal son, God is welcoming us back into the house. And that's possible because Jesus made sure that he became the way into the house, the truth and the life, back into the Father's house. So at this time, we'll just pray, bow our heads. Lord, just thank you so much for speaking to us and reminding us that you are the way, the truth, and the life, that there are no other ways to be able to experience you fully, your promises, to experience your salvation except through Christ alone. I just pray that you would plant this word in everyone's heart to really think about it, to really wrestle with it, and come to their own conclusion. And I pray that you would speak truth to each of us, Lord, to help us realize the huge cost that was paid so that we could have this exclusive relationship with you, because you love us so much that you are jealous of us, that you don't want to share us with anyone else. You love us so much that you want to keep us